Anyone need a refresher on what happened last time? We're still good.
I think we're still good. We were all on our way, if I remember right, to the bathhouse.
I think you guys are still splitting up to try and find Akari.
Okay.
And then the elf was speaking to Oryn and Lillith.
And if I say,
While that's all happening,
Right.
Gregor and Alpha, do you guys want to do something so long?
Well, I was waiting for the to still go to the I thought we were going to the bathhouse. Now we're looking for Akari.
Yes, you guys are, because that was the last thing you wanted to do. That's why you split up. You're currently with the summon.
We are.
You are.
Myself and Alpha.
No,
Okay,
you. Gregor.
Just me.
Yes.
Okay, which way are we going?
You guys are at the bottom here.
The blue one.
Alpha,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oryn and Lillith.
So what I will do is I will ask the summon, can she sense the Akari, any vibes from Akari now?
So the last time you looked at her, she did look weaker. So it seems like the distance is affecting her. So I don't know if you still want to ask that with that in. Just met daai wete nie. Taking that into consideration, do you still want to ask the same question?
Yeah, if you can just give us an idea of which direction, or does she feel any connection at all, that we can know where to start?
She says not at the moment.
Can't sense anywhere. Sorry.
She can't sense
Where
her.
it would be. Even a
There's
direction.
no communication between them right now.
Do you have any idea where she was the last time you could feel her?
She kind of looks around the houses that are currently standing in, and then she just says somewhere here. Can't pinpoint it any closer than that.
We can try going in between the houses there and see if we can find any clues, maybe, about what happened to her.
Cool. Roll a perception check.
Let me get back to my dice. Dice. Yes, we'll check again. Is it? Yeah, it is. With advantage, you said, ne? That's the thing with me.
An advantage, right? Just straight up roll.
No.
No.
I didn't think so.
You see low cost housing.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you said it was the low cost. Like I said, the goblin sector.
Alpha, anything you and the horse want to try and do?
Where's the bathhouse again?
This way.
Okay. And the elf was talking to Gregor and...
No, was here to Lillith and Oryn. Yeah. And this alleyway here.
Yes. Oryn, you wanna, because you have that ring still. Do you want to tell Alpha about this interaction? Or,
With the elf?
or do you want to tell everyone about the interaction? Because Gregor can talk to Lillith and you can talk to
Alpha.
Because she seems to have somewhat of an idea.
Yeah, Oryn will just say that there is an elf that we saw in the where was it? The inn.
Bathhouse.
That's
The alleyway here behind the
no,
bar.
no. I mean, we first saw her in
Oh,
the
yes.
where we were
Yes,
eating.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
correct.
Sorry. Okay.
My
In the-
apologies.
That was
In the
Akari's
inn.
friend.
Yeah, that is that also seems to be looking for Akari. But Oryn's gonna say I'm not certain that she is as friendly as she says she is, so just be wary.
Okay.
What did she say again? Where was she headed, or what was she doing?
She
She
didn't
was-
say where she was headed or what she was doing. She said that Amiko is at the bathhouse, and she'll trust them if Amiko trusts them.
Alpha saw Amiko and Akari together. Hey,
Yes,
okay. Alpha's
but
gonna.
everybody kind of knows that they're friends. Like everybody in the group saw them speaking and stuff as well, so it's not uncommon knowledge for the group to know that they are friends or acquaintances.
Yes. Are we gonna try and reach out to Amiko to see if she can help to find Akari?
That's not a bad idea. That's a very good idea. If she's got any way of getting to finding her.
Okay, Alpha's gonna make a beeline for the bathhouse.
So through the alleyways and stuff, not just on the main road. I
Yeah,
take
just
it.
through the alleyways, wherever the horse can fit.
With the skin fits, yeah. Sorry, I can't fit through here, so you're not going to make it.
And then I'm going to say that Lillith relays the same information, so you kind of meet up with them, the summon and Gregor. So you guys would walk here and kind of meet up with Alpha and them here again. So the group is back together. Right, so is there anything else that you guys would like to do? So before we just skip ahead, Oryn, is there anything else you'd like to ask the elf before you guys leave? So last
Not
words
from
were
my
that she doesn't
side.
really trust you guys.
No, Oryn's not gonna ask anything.
You want to ask anything? Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to say that you guys kind of meet up with Alpha and them again. Alpha and the horse. And then you make your way to the entrance of the bathhouse. Right. So, who wants to speak to the people at the bathhouse? At the moment, you can see Amiko is there, and then the owner of the bathhouse. The owner that would be familiar to Oryn and Lillith, I believe.
I'll just hang back with the summon for now. Let them handle the actual talk.
Oryn didn't have the best interaction with the elf last time she was here, so
Well, she didn't have a
somebody
bad
else.
interaction. She just didn't
Yeah,
agree
but
with
it
what he had
wasn't
to say for her.
Yeah, so someone else can go ahead and speak to him. Alpha,
Well,
it's
she
your
didn't
time
get
to
a
shine.
bad bath. The stuff that he recommended.
Yeah, it's not like you really.
She did
She
eventually
loves
go
it
for
when
what he
guys don't
recommended.
listen when she talks. No means no. What part of that don't you get?
So, Alpha, you gonna speak to Amiko?
Is she in? Where is she in the bathhouse? We don't know.
Kind of near the entrance. So she is there as you guys arrive. She seems to be speaking to the owner of the bathhouse.
Actually, she's already here. Okay, cool.
Well, Alpha will walk up to her and then kind of not immediately grab her attention, but listen in to see what she says to the owner. Maybe Alpha can get context if they speak in common.
From the little that you can get from what they're saying, She's kind of just asking him if he has seen Akari anyway. And giving a brief description of her. And he says no, he hasn't. So he's telling her that he hasn't seen her. Or someone that fits that description.
Alpha will gently put his hand on her shoulder to grab her attention.
Okay.
Okay. She turns around and sees you and is like, hello there. Sorry to meet under these circumstances.
Well, technically, we've met before.
Sorry to meet you in these
Point taken.
circumstances. Not meet you like the first time.
See you,
just-
yeah.
Yeah.
Is she trustworthy then? That's the thing. She could be.
I would think she is, but valid point. Very valid point.
Could be one of those you kind of never expected it kind of thing.
Plot twist.
Maybe her family's like struggling financially or something, and this is the only way out.
Wow.
Listen, if you're going to worry about someone struggling financially, it's probably Oryn.
Hey, don't throw me far away. My character needs some serious. I didn't have as much money as you guys. You went shopping and selling and off already. Right. So
Alpha's
I'm
gonna.
going to ask the. Sorry, go ahead, Alpha.
No. You go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Mine's really minor, so go ahead.
Alpha's just gonna kind of briefly explain to her what happened and that where she bolted off to, like the general housing area, and then he'll quietly try and tell her, I think I know what this is about. I know what she is. But we need to find her.
She kind of tilts her head when you say, you know what she is. Like, that kind of caught her off guard. But then she says, well, we agree that we need to find her. We can agree that we need to find her. So she agrees with you on that one. And that's why we're currently looking for her as well, as discreetly as we can.
I'm going to say to the summon, are you feeling okay? Are you going to survive without the connection? I know Gourd, kind of stroke his pocket with the corpse of Gourd is wrapped in the thing and say, I know he cannot survive long without me, but well, I didn't think he could survive, but he survived for longer than I thought previously while we were swept away. Do you know how long it will take before you start showing negative symptoms?
She's already displaying quite a few negative symptoms, so...
Well, she's still here, which is not a bad point.
Yeah, she's still there. She doesn't seem to be very focused or anything. Kind of just following you guys around at this stage. So not answering much, not looking around, just kind of zombie-like.
The Walking Dead Pathfinder edition.
Pretty much.
There's a crossover between Pathfinder and that zombie one we do, All Flesh.
Yeah, all flesh is equal.
Oh.
We can all agree that Alpha is Rick, though.
I don't know. I actually was asked by someone, because apparently I look quite a lot like when my hair's a bit longer. Asked if I want to cosplay Rick, because apparently I look quite a lot like Rick when I've got my hair a bit longer.
Coral. They back.
Again, I'm told. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what I was told.
Rick's cool. Rick's a cool character.
That's your
was-
celebrity crush.
He was.
No,
And-
that's Daryl Dixon.
Oh, right, sorry.
He was, but I think kind of as it's gone on, they made him into a wuss.
Yeah, listen. Okay, before this gets out of hand, I've only just started, I think, season 7.
Oh, shut up.
No spoilers. So
Oh, shut up.
I'm just at the part where Glenn died. After that, I don't know what happened. So
Okay,
nothing
no,
after
no.
Glenn dead.
No. The next season is the one we started struggling on. We're 2 seasons, well, 1.5 seasons further than you.
Okay, cool.
So you're not more or less. We struggled through that's season 4, I think. We struggled through season 5 and season 6. I just can't get into.
No, because the season season 7 is what I'm watching now, but it's when Negan comes in.
Yeah, sorry, 7. Is it 7
Yeah.
already? Okay, 7.
Yeah, no, we're quite far. Season 4 is when they encounter Woodbury
Okay.
and the
So
governor.
season 8, then season 7 is the one we struggled through, and season 8 is just I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I thought it was much earlier than that. But anyway.
Oh no. The only reason I know is because I've had to because my sister's too young to watch it, but I've like relayed the entire plot to her with points and timelines on a whiteboard. So I know exactly what happens in what season with what characters, who dies, when it happens, and yeah, so
Okay, cool. Yeah, we watched a long time ago. But yeah, the season after it is the one where they start making Rick into a real wuss. And I'm like, oh no. I'm not going to give you any more information. Sorry, no spoilers. Thanks. So anyway, what does anyone else want to do? What are you doing? You've been quiet. What would Oryn be doing through all of this?
Oryn is probably going to kind of hang back as well. I don't think that she particularly wants to speak to the alt elf guy. And she's just gonna watch the door. So, maybe standing inside with the rest of the group if they are inside. But just kind of looking around outside, seeing if she can see any keep casting detect magic in the area.
Okay. So as you cast detect magic, you notice that something on Alpha is emanating more magic, and looking outside, it is getting close to nighttime. Quite dark outside already.
Alpha werewolf.
I thought he was cured.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to
Alpha's
do
been
this
fixed.
again with the Banshee.
Yeah, he still has something on him that is tied to them.
An
He
odor,
isn't cursed.
perhaps.
Wow. Wow.
It's the box. Alpha, I thought we got rid of that thing.
No.
He still has the box and one piece of paper.
We need to actually. We're at the bathhouse.
Yeah, just give it to this guy and say, "Oh, thank you for your services, sir." It's a gift.
Just get rid of
a
it.
token of our affection, yeah.
Technically, Alpha hasn't touched the paper after he got cured, so he just get rid of it.
But he's gonna have to touch it to get rid of it.
Here, take it out of my chest plate. Oryn, are you going to tell Alpha that he's glimmering with magic?
Yeah.
I think when you
I'm
say
so nice.
that,
I should have said no.
so you're telling him.
Yeah, I'm telling him.
As you say that, you can almost see a little light go on inside the helmet. Like, oh
The
yeah,
light's on, but no one's home.
Ding. Hello.
When you see him doing that, he's gonna be. We did say we're going to the bathhouse, hey everyone.
Yeah.
You are currently at the bathhouse.
When you tell that to him and you see like a little light goes on, you immediately see him get just distracted and go into the bathhouse.
So you guys are technically in the bathhouse already, inside like the front area of the bathhouse.
We'll then steer towards where
the elf is.
Elf is, yes.
Okay, cool. He's kind of back behind the counter at this stage. So you walk up to the counter and Elf looks at you and is like, "Evening."
Alphas will say, I'm here to strike vengeance in the hearts of those that did what I'm hoping is either you or your family. A little elven. Hey?
Sorry, you're here to strike vengeance into the people that did something to you and your family.
Oh, to him, yes. Either to him or his family.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm
Okay.
following what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
A little elven boy seems to have got caught up in a nasty set of business regarding a mercenary group abducted and killed for what were their names? Rune Lords.
The Rune Lords.
Yes. So
He-
as you say, Ruin Lords, you kind of see his interest in what you're saying kind of peaks.
Uh-huh.
Do you know of such family? Someone that might have been affected in this troubled time about 200 years ago?
So he kind of looks at him and then he says, well, the village he originally came from was attacked, and when he returned there was nothing.
What did the little elven ghost tell Alpha again? He didn't say a name or anything,
No, he did not.
but he
Just said
said
someone that looks like him.
someone that looks like him in Sandpoint.
Yes.
Why did we decide to go to the bathhouse? Or was that just the first elf that we kind of knew of?
That's the elf that they knew of in Sandpoint.
Okay. Alpha will say, the spirit of the fallen child has led me to Sandpoint. I'm looking for any family members, anyone that might be able to help or recollect any information regarding this. I'm trying to lay the child's soul to rest. And then you'll say, with me I carry a note of someone that might have had a hand in the abduction of these children.
The elf stays quiet for a while and then he says, so you've met the Soggy River monster?
What was known as the Soggy River monster, yes, but they have been long exterminated.
Him kind of nodding, and then he says, well, there was a group that left before you that took the bounty from me to try and solve the issue. Did you see them at all?
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, the four adventurers, and Alpha will say the elf, all those, the race and kind of what they were. There was a cleric or a mage or whatever the case is.
Okay, cool.
Just kind of like in detail saying, listen, I know who it is. I've seen them. And then he'll carry on saying, unfortunately, their lives were not spared by these monsters, but I have avenged their souls.
He seems quite distressed, and then he nods, and then he says, well, did you slay the monster?
The soggy river monster.
Yes.
Well, there was a few of them. We did kill what we saw. The seven of them, I think.
Yeah. 7.
They ended up being seven of these swamp monsters, and all of them have lost their life.
Him kind of frowning, and then he says, well, the Soggy River monster is tied to an object.
Alpha's gonna take the box out and say, do you mean this object?
He looks at the box, and then he says, that seems like it would be of interest to the Rune Lord collectors in town, but no, not tied to that.
The soggy river monster would be tied to an object.
We should make a list of the most helpful NPCs and not put this guy on it.
I'm stumped. I can't recollect any useful information.
You take the note out and give him the note.
Well, I'll take the note out and say, well, this were sets of parchments in this box, most of which have crumbled and disappeared by some unordinary magical means, and this note is all that remains. This is the note that I need someone to read to lay rest to these children's hearts, or these children's souls.
He nods and then he looks at the paper and then he says that's the journal that it is tied to, and the fact that this is still here means it's still alive. You said, what did this creature or what you saw tell you when you saw it? He doesn't touch the paper though.
Yeah. At first there was a group of what seemed like children, most of which have disappeared. One elven boy reached my attention, a ghostly elven boy, telling me to find someone that looks like him. And I need to deliver this note to whoever, whether it be family of the boy or family of the mercenary that this journal belonged to.
The elf looks at the piece of paper and then he says, well, I'll say that the soggy river monster is now your problem, especially if you have this.
Rude.
But I'll still give you the reward that I promised them, because if you can fix this, then that is all I wanted to happen.
Fix what? And then Alpha's gonna slowly go for his sword.
So the elf looks at you and then he says, well, soggy river monster has been tormenting the swamp for quite a while, and I think the spirits tied to it want to be put to rest.
Is there no one that you can... no direction or no heading that you can give me in regards to a family member of this little elven boy, or a family that might have had some trouble with the Rune Lords, or...
He takes out a map of Sandpoint and puts it down, and then circles specifically this area here. And he says, a collector of Rune Lord relics lives there. They might be able to give you more information on this than I could. And then he takes out a platinum coin and puts it down on the map and says, the reward that was promised for killing the Soggy River monster.
Awesome.
Hey, is someone gonna keep track of the platinum?
I'll put it in mine.
Okay. Do we have a I don't know if someone has made an entire list of everything that's in the chest.
The person that made the list is the person that's on the phone.
Okay.
So I'll add it to mine, and then you can just sort it out, and then we'll just sort it out later.
Okay. Alpha will then give a nod and say, thank you. What? Roll initiative. No, I'm joking. Alpha will just say thank you, and thank you for giving me a heading.
There we go.
I hope that your bath house brings many customers.
The elf nods and then says, "Thank you for bringing closure about what happened to my town, village, and the people I loved."
You're just gonna see as the guy puts the coin down, you're just gonna see Oryn's like eyes quickly dart towards the coin while she's looking outside, leaning around the summons wing, like what was that?
Okay, yeah. Alpha will take the coin and everything, and then head out.
I put it in my inventory for now, but we can sort that out later.
Cool. He'll put it, if Alpha's carrying the coin, he'll put it in such a way to make it extremely difficult for any person to pickpocket. Just putting it out there. You know, he's going to do that with his whole money bag, actually.
I think we've
Please explain to me where it is.
You and everyone.
Please explain
sticks
to
it
me
in his
exactly where
trousers.
that is. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm asking. Explain to me where that is exactly.
On his inside of his chest plate. On his chest.
Okay.
And he's going to,
Okay,
every
that I did not expect.
few seconds, he's going to be sure to feel that the money is still there.
Okay, cool. No
That's
issues
just
at all.
every now and again. It doesn't seem suspect at all.
I don't trust this town, and I don't trust you, Christopher.
I'm
Right.
the one that, just FYI, I'm the one that set up the pickpocket last time.
Yeah, that's not me.
I didn't wait to do that. I was literally
I
like,
told
ripping it out
people
and do
don't
that.
do that. Just so you know, I was the one who said don't do it.
I couldn't.
Anyway.
Don't worry, Alpha. At least you're not Oryn. Bad things won't happen to you unless you're Oryn.
I was gonna say, well, that was my welcome to the big city part.
So,
Hello, country bumpkins. Welcome to the big city.
Oryn, is there anything you'd like to say to Amiko?
Oryn is just gonna say to her, your friend doesn't seem to trust us very much.
She kind of looks at you and then she asks, can you be a little more specific on which friend?
I'm trying to remember what she looked like.
Is the elf?
Yeah, the blonde one. I think she had blonde hair in the picture. The elf with blonde hair.
Yes.
She nods and then she says, yeah, she doesn't trust a lot of people. It takes some time. But if you meet her again, just tell her that you've spoken to me and that I think you're trustworthy.
Not that I should have to prove myself to her, but maybe it would be better if you let her know that we're on the same side. Considering she doesn't, and she's going to make little like air quotes, trust us.
Well,
She nods and then she says, okay, I'll try and speak to her, but yeah, at the moment I think there's bigger problems that we all should be focusing on.
Or instead just gonna go turn around, carry on.
Right. So do you guys want to continue searching, or are you going to the Rune Lord's place?
Alpha's going to the Rune Lords.
yeah. I think we'll all head to the Rune Lord's place unless someone else wants to check anything else.
Unless everyone else wants to devise a plan on how we can catch Akari. Actually, Alpha's gonna ask Amiko. We've had no luck in finding your friend. It's referring to Akari. You probably know her better than anyone else. Where would she run off to? Where could she be hiding?
Roll a... what's that one? Diplomacy?
Let me see.
Yes.
This isn't gonna end well.
Good, I mean, you've got high charisma.
Diplomacy is an 8, but Alpha's gonna roll a 1. A 3.
Well, it's not a 1.
It's 2 better. She looks at him and then she says, I'm not too sure where she would have gone. It's been a while since he's been here. but maybe she wouldn't look like she used to look.
Well, do you have a description of what she can look like to be on the lookout? Because we need to find her before they do. They'll take her.
She looks at you and then she says, female.
That doesn't help.
Thanks, that helped. Yeah, that helped.
That's the
Woo.
only information she can give you.
So you expect us... What would a population of Sandpoint be, more or less, would you say? 500, 600?
Close to probably about 2,000-ish?
2,000.
Yeah, of course.
So you expect us to comb through 2,000 people, whereas probably half or more than half of which are women, to try and find her.
She looks at you and then she says, well, we're kind of in the same boat in that, and I wish I could help you more, but the information I have, I would share with you.
I'm sure you know the dire situation that we are in, so I'll spare you what's the word? I just hit a blank. Oh, damn it.
Righteous damnation.
Like, I'll spare you the interrogation.
Not interrogation, but like if you tell a kid about consequences, basically.
Okay.
What's the word?
Lecture.
Lecture. Thank you.
There we go.
There we go. You know the dire consequences that we're sitting in, so I'll spare you the lecture, and then he'll get on his horse.
Right. Are the rest of you also going to the Rune Lords?
Yes, I think so.
The collector of the Rune Lords artifacts place.
What Oryn is going to do, though, while we're on our way there, Oryn is going to get on the broom and fly as high up as she can so that she can be seen from, like, more places. Actually, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Because I feel that just one lady flying on a broom around everywhere would not be the best choice. Never
Gonna
mind, scratch that.
attract
Forget
a
I
lot
said
of
anything.
eyes.
Might get some attention.
Yeah, but I mean, we might attract the wrong attention, and I
Agreed.
don't want to take my chance of somebody wanting to take my broom now as well. Never mind. Akari, girl, you gotta find us. Oryn's gonna walk.
Right. So, you guys head off towards this bridge here, I take it, to get across.
Can we not, like, grab a boat and travel this way?
Could, but it's going to cost you money for a ferry.
It's like not
Well,
even.
Well, we've got a relative amount of money.
Yeah, no, I'm stingy. We'll go around. I'm keeping that money.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So, as you guys reach the bridge, who's walking the closest to the summon?
That'll be me, probably.
Armand was also close to the summon, so that's why I'm just asking.
No, Gregor, it's fine for Gregor. I'll hang back. I'll walk at the back of the group.
Okay, so walking at the back of the group, you'd also see this thing, but you both would notice that the feathers on her wings are kind of falling out, and she seems to be walking much slower than she usually does.
Who all sees this? Just whoever's close to the summon.
So if Gregor's in the middle, whoever's behind him, Alpha would probably be in the front with the horse.
Yes.
Oryn is going to pick up the feathers behind her. And she's going to kind of go up a little bit and just put her hand on the back of the summons, like between her shoulder blades, to kind of just guide her forward a little bit. But she's also going to cast Detect Magic. The further we walk away from it, this bathhouse, she'll just cast Detect Magic again.
Okay. So the magic that you usually pick up from the summon is barely there.
She gonna die.
Maybe you guys should stay in in the city. Because we don't know what implications it has if the summon gets too far away from Akari.
To be fair, I mean, this has happened before, and the summon did survive when we went to the first world. So
Yeah.
the connection also got severed. So it was really cuck for her. I mean, the situation and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's not going to kill her. So I'm happy to stay back, but I can't stay by myself. I can't protect myself and her.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can stay
I'm like
behind.
support.
I mean, everyone can stay behind, and then Alpha and the horse can kind of just run to the house. That'd be quicker anyway.
Yeah. Because they've got he's on a horse, so he can literally go faster. It's just literally as simple as that.
Yes.
Also,
So
he'll
are you
just
guys
tell
actually
Oryn.
discussing this between yourselves? Is the group saying this out loud to say, listen, we need to make a plan about this? Or are you speaking as the characters or as the players?
I think Oryn will say, maybe it's best, she'll say to Alpha, maybe it's best if you carry on ahead. We should stay back. It doesn't look like some of us are doing so well. Very vague again, but just, and then she'll kind of tap the ring that's on her finger.
Alpha will give a nod
Kind of.
and then bolt off with the horse. Let's see how
Okay.
fast this horse can run.
I think pretty fast, but cool.
So as Alpha and the horse bolt across, they're about halfway to the next bridge. Then for the rest of you, the summon completely loses her wings and she becomes smaller. So she's a small creature now,
Like small, like things.
like a halfling size.
Okay.
Still over here though, with the rest of you.
Okay.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh. What about yeah, but okay, I will ask her as Gregor say is your size, does it match hers? Should we be looking for someone like this?
She does not respond. It doesn't even seem like she's hearing what you're saying.
There you okay, sorry.
Oryn is going to suggest that maybe we take a different route. I don't know which way, maybe this way or go this way, and again start moving around to see if there's anything we can sense for Akari. Although to be fair, maybe she would have tried to get out of the city. Like maybe she went into this foresty area.
Do you want to search the forest or do you want to go back into the city?
That's what I'm kind of asking. What everyone else thinks is a better idea. Because I didn't feel her anywhere from this general area. So although my detect magic isn't the biggest range, I mean, it's ruled out at least this part. So, I mean, if she's going up here, it's either this area or the forest.
But again, is she using magic at this moment?
Well, I think that there's kind of like an emanation coming from her at all times, surely, because I mean, if she's changed her appearance, wouldn't that be considered like magic?
Magic, yeah, I agree with you. So
It's very sound reasoning. Just asking. So do you guys want to head back into the city? Search up this way.
Yeah, I think so. Let's do that.
Okay. To head up this way. And Alpha, I'm gonna say you reach the front door of the mansion at this stage as well, because you didn't really stop, right?
Yes.
Cool. So you reach the front door of a massive mansion.
Does it look like a Halloween kind of scary mansion? Is it a nice mansion? Is it a...
It looks like whoever stays here is really rich.
Okay.
Kind of creepy though, because it has a lot of like artifacts and stuff. So it's kind of set up like a museum as well.
Okay.
Alpha, the estate agent.
So Alpha, what would you like to do?
Well, get off the horse and then grip his sword's handle and then go knock on the door.
So you knock on the door, and it takes a while, but eventually looks like almost a clockwork gnome opens the door.
Clockwork as in he's made
It's a machine.
machine. Okay.
I think we should get a clockwork machine.
We have enough children in the group.
He's got a little. He's got a little brother in Lilith's bag.
Does the gnome...
Technically, yes.
She bought the giggle thing.
That's
Silas,
true,
then.
that's true. Yeah, I remember that actually.
Does the gnome say anything?
Opens the door and looks at you.
Doesn't say
Doesn't
anything.
say.
Okay.
No.
Alpha's gonna say, I've been referred to this house regarding someone that might know anything about a Rune Lord relic.
The gnome kind of, it's a little bit janky, but it bows and then steps to the side and kind of ushers you in. Still doesn't say anything.
Alpha will slowly walk into the house.
Right, and then please roll a d8 for me. There's nothing bad, it's just to see what race the owner of the store is.
D8.
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
A beautiful elven...
No, I'm joking. It's going to be a very interesting conversation right now. A goblin walks up and says, "Welcome to the Rune Lord Museum."
Alpha immediately draws his sword. Actually, not joking, he draws his sword.
Okay. The goblin kind of looks at you and he says, very intimidating. Do you want to take a tour of the museum?
How well dressed is the goblin?
Like, he's dressed in very fancy clothes, like nobleman attire, pretty much. So he looks like a receptionist, but a higher class one. No weapons, nothing. He's just literally standing there to welcome you.
Alpha will say, goblins aren't usually this or have this form of intelligence.
Goblin nods and then says, well, it's a little racist, but some of us do. I mean, not all humans are intelligent.
Ooh.
Alpha will see their sword. For now.
Goblin lets out a sigh and is like, thank goodness not again this week.
Not again. Alpha said, Alpha will say, I have a very peculiar item. He'll take out the box and then say, I found this in the swamp, and to put short, or to put bluntly, I'm trying to find the Elven family that needs to read the letter about how their child was abducted by the Rune Lords. This box, and then he'll take the note out as well, and note seem to belong to a journal that a mercenary wrote working for the Rune Lords. I was directed into your care to see if I can't find my next heading.
So the goblin looks at the lockbox. Do you take out the key as well for the lockbox?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So he looks at both of them and he tells you this is quite a rare find. I'll have to take it back to be inspected properly, but we would be interested in buying this artifact from you. And then he puts on a monocle, but you can see that the glass on it is a very strange shade. It doesn't seem like it's just normal glass. And then he looks at the note, and then he says, I need to get someone else to confirm this for you. Would you mind just staying here? Literally stuttering as he's saying that.
Of course.
So the goblin, kind of as discreetly as he can, scurries off to go and find someone else, heading through a doorway that was somewhere behind him. Is there anything you'd like to do while you wait?
Look around in that room, I guess. You see if there's anything interesting to look at. Artifacts, what they do, what they look like.
So you can see multiple displays, and each of them has like a little plate in the front, so you can assume it's kind of a name and description of what actually is inside the display. And you can see that the clockwork gnomes, and there's a few other different sizes of them, they're kind of just cleaning most of them, so it's kind of late as well, so they're cleaning everything and making sure everything is ready for the next day, if you had to take a guess.
I take it this is some, like, as you said, a museum. People come to visit and look around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Alpha will get, like, maybe walk to the closest gnome and then just kind of almost inspect and see what he can see. Try, not that he could, but, you know, almost like he's looking to figure out how they work or how they operate. Or
Okay.
Roll a perception check. Very nice. So you can see that there are multiple different small mechanisms inside the gnome that keep it running. But every other clockwork item you've seen, there was some sort of winding mechanism to get it to run. The first thing you notice is there's none on any of the gnomes working in this place. None of the clockwork machines in here have any winding mechanism for them to run. Upon closer inspection on the gnome, you notice that there's a gemstone where a human or humanoid heart would be, and this seems to be powering them.
Good.
Hmm.
I think I've made a friend that can help us make our little clockwork item.
Well, if there's something was going there, there must have been some kind of creature, is what they're saying, inside it at some point.
Uh,
Okay, good.
So a little while later, right, the goblin returns, and you can see there's another goblin walking with him that seems a bit more formally dressed, and then a quite elderly human female walking behind them.
okay, we'll meet them halfway, I guess, or step
Okay.
forward.
Okay, cool. So the goblin, the more neatly dressed one, says, "Apologies, sir, but I need to inspect the page you brought in. You're welcome to speak to my colleague here." And then he kind of gestures towards the goblin you spoke to before.
Alpha will give a little, not a bow, but nod his head as a greeting. Can Alpha
So-
assume that the one goblin told the other goblin about everything, or it kind of just grabbed his attention and I need to still explain?
You can probably assume that he told him about everything. That's why he's going specifically to the piece of paper as well.
Okay, so Alpha will just kind of hold out the piece of paper then. Whether he chooses to take it or not, that's up to him.
So the goblin puts on gloves and then takes it and examines it. The other goblin walks closer, and then you hear him kind of in a hushed tone say, "I told you. You can see that, right? I told you." And then the one who's inspecting the paper just shushes him. Like, what do you make blarney?
Alpha will say, "What is this? What do you seem so fond about? Why do you seem so fond about this piece of paper?"
The goblin looks at you and then he says, "Well, maybe the mistress can tell you." And then he looks at the elderly woman that's still kind of on her way to you. She's walking with a walking stick and stuff, so she's quite a bit slower than they were walking.
Okay.
Do you wait for her, or do you go towards her?
Gregor's going
Uh,
to start kind of examining the clockwork thing as well, while everyone else is busy, just like really closely
I
examining
don't
it.
think you were there, eh? I think it's
No, not
just
there.
Alpha that went there with the. I think it's Alpha that went there with the horse.
The rest of us still on our way there. I apologize. Okay, cool.
The rest of you are still in town.
Gregor's
Looking
welcome
for
to hitch a ride on the horse with me.
If you-
No, cool. I thought we all went together. My bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, if
Alpha
I'm missing something, just let me know as well.
Alpha would walk to the old lady. Shame, seeing as she's walking slowly and
Give her a hand. How cute. Nice.
So as you reach her, she looks up at you, says, "Oh, it's been a while since I have seen an adventurer."
Alpha will just greet her, milady, kind of give a bow, formal bow, more formal bow.
She laughs a bit, and then she says, "Oh, no need to be so formal. This is I make the money. I'm not actually noble." She kind of jokes.
Okay.
The goblin gentleman said that you could tell me why they seem so interested in that piece of parchment.
"Ah, yes, the diary," she answers, and then she says, "Well, a distant relative had this estate, and it was once the base of operations of a small mercenary group, later known as the Paladins of Misfortune."
Okay.
Is that like a band name or?
That's the mercenary group name.
Would I be correct in assuming that these paladins were working for the Rune Lords?
Do you ask her that?
Yes.
She says, "Oh no, they weren't paladins. Just none of them were paladins.
Or mercenaries? Were these mercenaries working for the Rune Lords?
Yes, she answers.
Okay. I need to find family of a little elven boy that was captured and killed by these mercenaries.
She looks again and she says, well, I can't help you with that per se, but some of my distant relatives were part of the mercenary band. That's why I have this house now.
Distant distant
Relatives,
relatives, you
yes.
say?
Yes. It's 200 years ago. For a human, that's
Yes.
a couple of generations.
Where do they reside?
She kind of looks again and then she says, well, they are dead.
I think I
It's just
understood
the
wrong.
canvas.
Okay. All right. I think I understood that conversation wrong. Okay. So she inherited basically from the dead relatives that were part of the group. If I'm understanding that correctly.
Yes, this is her inheritance. So she's kind of turned something that was bad into a attraction to tourists into Sandpoint.
Yes. Okay. That note was signed Reginald, correct?
Correct.
Alpha will ask, was one of your family members anyone named Reginald?
Yes, my great grandfather.
I see. Did they give the note back to Alpha, or do they still have the note?
Not the goblins are. They're still examining it. The one's
Okay.
kind of hovering around the one that's examining it, but yes, they kind of still have the notes with them.
Alpha will say, please excuse me for a second, and then he'll walk to the goblins. And then carefully, he's not asking permission, he's going to carefully grab the note and then take it from their hands.
So the goblin that was busy holding is like, I'm still looking at. No, well, okay. Kind of seeing the sword and the armor and stuff, just kind of backs away.
He'll then walk to the old lady and then say, I'm here to lay rest of those that no. I'm here to lay lay the souls to rest that might have had an unfortunate hand in your family's business. And then he'll hand out the note to the old lady, kind of urging her to take it and read it.
She looks at the note and then says, I believe this is one of the last missing pages of the journal. It's one of the artifacts we have in the private display.
I assume you know the context of this piece of parchment?
The rest of the journal, she answers, you can see she's already reading what's on the parchment, though, as she answers you.
Alpha will wait for her to finish reading.
She looks up at you and then she says, you said there's something attached to this, though? Or you need to get justice?
Roll initiative. Gonna battle the old lady. Where is the rest of the journal?
There's one of the back rooms. It's usually preserved for those that pay the fee to enter it.
Is she kind of more or less showing the area of where it is, or
No, she's still just kind of holding the notes and looking at you.
Alpha will take the note and say, "Would you care showing me to the journal?"
Of course. And then she starts walking down the hallway that they came from. And she starts telling you like the longest story you've ever heard. It feels like an eternity that she's just busy telling you about the history inside this place. While that's happening, back to the rest of the group. So you guys are walking down the, I don't know what to call this, like the lakefront or the
probably
riverfront of the village.
riverfront. Yeah, the riverfront. It'll be a river. Yeah, the riverfront. Yeah,
And
waterfront.
is
Where's the waterfront?
Oryn still casting Detect Magic?
I'm pretty sure that's what I did last. Yeah, I'll be doing it kind of like the whole time as we're walking.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you guys reach this little, what would I say, a small little pier, yeah,
Yeah.
you do detect some traces of magic coming from inside the storage area of the pier.
Okay. Would I recognize the magic at all?
Kind of. It feels like magic.
Okay.
It feels kind of similar to magic you felt before, but you can't really pinpoint it. So you can't say if it's like one of the pearls or what exactly it is, but it is magic you felt before.
Well, Oryn is going to then tell that to the rest of the group that she's with. And probably go check it out. She might say to probably Lillith, just for the purposes of this situation, she'll probably say to Lillith maybe she should hang back and stay with the summon. She won't say stay with the summon, she'll just say maybe you can stay here if you'd like, and she'll go check it out. Gregor can stay, he can go with, that's his choice, but
Gregor's gonna say, as you're
Oryn
kind of
will go.
now that we're alone, I think I can talk to you. We need to be careful of Alpha. He's not what he appears to be.
Internal conflict.
He has more than, it seems he has more than one voice in his head, which is not a good thing.
Trust me, you'd know.
Wow.
Oryn is
Can you
going
pull a
to.
dagger out of my back quickly?
No, I'm just saying you and Lilith shared a brain for like how long? Like
Okay, point
Dead
taken.
Space.
Okay, point taken.
I'm not being nasty. I'm just saying you should know how awful that is. Oryn is going to kind of give a bit of a puzzled look at Gregor and just say, "What do you mean he's got another voice inside of his head?"
I may or may not have read his journal, and it is in different voices and different handwritings, and it says different things, and it does mention slaying us at some point.
Oryn's eyes are just gonna like go wide when she hears this, and she's gonna say, "I'm sorry, what?"
And yes, I was like, this is so exciting.
Oryn is just gonna then say, "I'm surprised, but I'm also not that surprised, to be honest. I think that Alpha might just be reading into the situation a little bit differently than the rest of us. However, we should definitely stay vigilant."
That is all I ask. Yes, I do not say we should be doing anything against the poor man. I'm just saying he seems to be suffering from some kind of, shall we say, illness.
Mental disorder.
And I'm not,
Psychosis.
and I don't want to. I don't think he knows that I know, and I don't want to put that pressure on him of knowing that I know. But if we could maybe support him while watching our backs at the same time, it might be frugal to do that.
Oryn is going to say yes. Agreed. We should see what other information we could possibly get from him or from the journal or whatever the case is. To see maybe if we can have a better insight into whatever it is he's experiencing. But maybe at a time when we're not in a I want to say a manhunt, but I feel like that might be the wrong word.
Man,
We get what you're saying. We get what you're saying.
Yeah, you get what you're saying. Okay.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, if we could maybe, well, we will come back to this maybe another time. There are other more important matters at the moment.
Agreed. But she's also then just going to nod at Gregor and just say, thank you for telling me. Thank you for making me aware of what's happening.
It is what family does, is it not? And we are like family, yes?
Oryn's going to nod her head. I don't know if there's a door that we're going into.
Where would the door be? Yeah.
roll a perception check.
It's a hidden door.
All of us?
Okay.
All of us, or just
The people that are going to look for the door.
okay. Let's give you a try. And that.
Oof.
Okay. Okay.
Oryn
Oh,
walked
good stuff.
into the door. Oh, there you go.
Right. So, Oryn, you point out to Gregor that there are two doors. Both seem locked. And then Gregor says, but what about that one? And you see there's a small, like, hatch. It's probably for, if you had to guess, where they chuck things out of the storehouse into the river and lake.
It doesn't smell very good, but it's an entrance.
Doesn't seem like.
How big is it? Did you say?
Yeah, it's big enough for you guys to go through.
Okay, all right.
Like, climb through.
Well, we'll do that then.
I was going to actually
I'll
say,
go first.
Gregor will say, maybe we should send a little one first, just in case we should get stuck or something. Kind of
I will die.
pointedly sort of nodding his head towards Silas without actually saying it.
I will die before I send Silas into an unknown area where I cannot see him. I don't care what's happening. I can't rebuild him like Gourd. Oryn is just gonna look at Gregor and say, "No, it's all right. I'll go ahead first. Age prefer beauty and
Gregor's
whatnot."
gonna look at you and go, in that dress, maybe I should go first. I don't want to be walking behind you. You might get the wrong idea. If there is a tunnel we need to crawl through, it might look a little suspicious.
Oryn is just gonna say, "By all means, you're welcome to." Can't say I won't look though. Joking. I'm joking. Oryn's just gonna say, "By all means, go ahead."
You'll kind of try and crawl. No. He's going to drink. No, he'll crawl in first. Let's do that first. Is it like a tunnel that goes in, or is it a?
It's kind of like a chute.
Okay. You need to crawl down the chute to get inside.
Yes.
Not very far, though, I would assume.
No, it's not a very long way in.
Getting in, is it dark inside?
It is quite dark inside.
Okay.
So Gregor wouldn't be able to see much.
Unless he drinks one of his potions of...
But you said you climb through first, so you have to get out on the other side first before you can drink it. Correct?
Yes, that's what I meant. When I get out on the other side, that's why I asked, is it dark inside?
Right, so you get out on the other side, and you kind of stumble around, hitting a few boxes as you get out. And then you can drink your
dark
potion.
vision elixir.
Okay, so on the inside you can see a bunch of crates. Doesn't smell the best. It seems like this is probably a processing... Wherever they catch the fish, this is where they process it. So they catch the fish outside, and then they process it in here, and then they probably send it off wherever it needs to go.
I'm going to kind of... How high was the chute above the ground? Not
It's
very
not
high.
It's you kind of climb out onto a table, so that's where they cut up the fish, and then they just move all of it down the chute. So the fish heads and guts and
I'm
whatever
going
would
to
be
kind of turn my
down the
head
chute.
back to Oryn going, your dress may not be quite the same after you've been through here. I'm just saying.
Oryn is going to just shrug and be like, well, you can't. I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. It's kind of in the sense of like, I don't know if you guys can help me come up with something, but you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. You can't go on an adventure without ruining a few outfits. And
Okay.
hey, I mean it's pants, so it's not. It technically is not a dress. It's pants and a shirt with pointy ends. So I
Okay.
think it'll be okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're right. Technically, it is a pants with a skirt over it, but yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. Not a skirt, I suppose I don't know what you'd quite call it. A trail, whatever behind it. Okay, cool. I got you. So, I don't know. I just thought it would be, you would like to know. Because now I can see in here. Oh, I'm sorry. I tend to forget. You can see in here without having to take a potion.
Thankfully, yes. And what kind of a friend would I be if I let you stand in the stink alone?
That really, as weird as it may sound, it's probably the nicest thing someone said to me in a long time.
Oh, look at you two bonding.
That's kind of sad. That's oof.
And you'll kind of help Silas out of the chute as well, put him onto the ground.
Right. So are you going to search inside the
Yeah.
storeroom?
Where would the magic go? First find out where did you feel the emanations from?
That would be up to the DM, I believe.
So do you cast Detect Magic again? Let's start there.
Sure.
Right. So when you cast Detect Magic again, you kind of feel that it's moving around. So it seems to be trying to keep an eye on you while staying hidden.
Magic rat.
No, it's not a rat.
Mickey
Don't
Mouse.
No, this is not the Mickey Mouse clubhouse.
Oryn is going to. I think we're standing relatively close together. I'm assuming her and Gregor.
It would be, yeah.
Oryn is going to lean up, I suppose. I don't know height, but anyway, she's going to speak into Gregor's ear and whisper very softly.
We're probably about the same height. How tall would you say you were?
Well, I mean, she's an elf, so relatively tall, I guess.
She might have
I don't
to
know.
Because thing's about 6 foot. He's just like normal average height.
Well,
So you'd
yeah,
be pretty much the same height.
same height, yeah. So she'll just lean into Gregor's ear and just whisper as soft as possible. Something in here is moving.
Because, your breath is so warm.
Don't, I'm ticklish.
From which direction?
It's kind of
Oryn,
behind a bunch of boxes in front of you guys, but it is moving, so it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where it is.
Okay. Okay. Okay, why don't, if you go around one way, I will go around the other way, and we can see if we can catch it between us.
sounds like a plan. Maybe we could corner it if we get Silas to come from like a middle angle.
Okay. Don't know how much Silas will be able to see around the boxes, but okay, that could work.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's try corner it then. Let me just see something quick before we do.
Right.
Um,
Ah,
I would like
To rage.
to cast to cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
okay. I like it.
Oh
That was
wait,
last time.
we have two options here. Either I could cast Mage Hand or I could like electrocute it. So I feel that perhaps Mage Hand is the more gentle
Yeah, I
approach,
would go. That's
but not the
probably
most effective.
Do you think it's friend or foe?
Oh, who knows? It's watching us, so let me just cast Mage Hand.
okay.
Maybe then we don't have to get close to it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you cast Mage Hand behind the boxes to try and catch whatever's there.
Yes.
Okay.
Make
I like the
a
word.
grapple attack.
A grapple attack.
Yes, so that would be an unarmed strike to try and catch it.
So is that just whatever it is on attack under
Check
Mage
your-
Hand, the
For
spell?
your
It should-
fist.
It should be
So under
under
weapons?
weapons. There should be fist.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much the same. It's both
Okay,
plus
cool.
7.
That's 7. Cool.
Let me 2, 3, 7. Oh,
Okay, that'll
okay.
work.
Not bad. Not bad.
So you grab what is behind the boxes, and I think Mage Hand kind of connects to you, so you'd probably be able to kind of sense what it's holding. What's
This is about to get creepy.
what's the other DM's call on this?
No, I'd allow that. I'd allow that.
Okay, cool. So you grab onto what feels like a cloak,
Okay.
and you pull back against it, and you feel whatever you've grabbed is struggling to get away from it. And you two would hear it trying to struggle to get away from it now. So it's not hidden really anymore. But it is about human size, where you're grabbing
Okay.
the cloak. So it's not the
Okay.
entire thing that you grabbed. You're physically just grabbing a part of its clothes.
Okay.
All right.
Gregor will draw
Um,
pepper box and hold it out in front of him and say, "It. There's no need to get violent, but if you would like to, I have a friend who will oblige you."
Oryn is also going to draw her short bow.
And we'll each go around a different side.
Yeah.
I'll take the left, you can take the right.
Mm-hmm.
So as you get closer to the boxes, you kind of hear the chant for needle darts.
I will say, "Zip your lip, or you will taste the fire of my weapon."
If this is Akari, I mean, surely by Gregor's accent, she should know not to cast at us.
If is a big word.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If friendly fire. When we hear that as well, Oryn is going to
Also start casting
also
needle
say,
darts.
yeah, she's gonna say, you don't want to play that game. Trust me, you will lose. And also fire one of her arrows like next to the person, not hitting them, but like as a threat.
Warning
So
shot.
as close to them as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you fire the arrow, and it hits close to the person that your hand is holding. They kind of pull free from the cloak, and you see a tiefling. And she looks back at you, and then she says,
Say again. Sorry, you cut out.
"You see a tiefling."
Half demon.
And she looks towards you, and then she says, "I knew you were going to turn."
You weren't going to turn.
Hold on. Sorry. I
Can you hear me now? Hello,
lost
hello.
them.
Mhm.
Yeah, the last thing, I don't know if you heard me say, I said to fire one of the arrows.
We got
I
that.
didn't hear anything after that. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So the arrow hits close to the figure, who then pulls free from the cloak, and you see a tiefling. Right? And the tiefling looks towards you and then says, "I knew you'd turn."
You would turn. Okay. How relates to your backstory?
No, not anything to do with her backstory.
Okay.
Oryn is going to cast. Oh, I'm assuming they haven't moved, right?
They just pulled free from the cloak, so you can see what they look like now.
And the mage hand is still holding
Oryn
the
is,
club up in the air, I would assume.
Yes.
Oryn is going to raise the bow up into, like, pointing at the person's chest, and again just repeat herself and say, "I wouldn't move if I were you. We're looking for our friend." Oh, actually, no, she's not going to say that. She's not going to say that. She's just going to point the bow at her and say, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you are." She's going to then say, "What are you doing here? Who are you and what are you doing here?"
So you ask all of those questions quickly, right?
Yeah.
Who are you
So
and what
kind
are
of
you
just
doing?
like, yeah, she's just going to say, "I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you and what are you doing here?"
Okay. So, Gregor, is there something you would like to do?
I'll just come around the other side again with just the pepper box raised and just say, "Well, answer the lady."
So from Gregor's side with the night vision, right?
Mhm.
You can see the needle dots are formed like above her one hand. And she seems to be more focused on Oryn right now than she is on Gregor. And from your angle, you can see that she has her one eye covered.
Covered as in with a patch or something.
Yes.
I will say, "Why don't you put down the needle darts and we can talk like civilized people?"
Right, I think it's time for an initiative roll inside here.
Give me a second.
Is it though? Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What is the initiative again? It's plus the perception now, hey?
Perception, yeah.
Correct.
I got 9.
I
There
have
we
23.
go.
Okay. So, Oryn, you're the first to go.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm assuming meta knowledge. This is probably Akari, so I think killing her is probably not the best choice.
Well,
I'm just trying to see.
Where's the
isn't it?
summon, by the way?
Sorry.
Where's the
Where's the
summon?
summon?
Outside with
Oh.
What is
Outside.
the?
Sitting on the sidewalk, not looking so good.
What is the area that we're in?
It's a small wooden warehouse with a bunch of boxes and stuff inside it.
Yeah, but like relatively the size, I mean.
Okay.
It's small, so that. Let me just check the scale on here. Probably about 30 feet, the entire area that you're in right now.
Okay. And obviously we're not, how far away would we be from this person?
Not very far. Like you'd probably
Like we're-
be within 10 feet of them.
Okay, that's fine then. I'm going to cast Spout.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping at least that if I cast this, it'll probably knock either the person into the roof or, you know, or at the very least move the needle darts away. Actually, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cast needle darts.
Okay.
I'm not going to waste time with
Hey,
the
keep in mind
1d4
she's got needle
damage.
darts ready to cast.
Yeah. Well, let me cast needle darts then.
Okay.
Okay. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Oryn, just a quick question. Knowing what her friend said, that we're looking for a woman,
Yeah.
would it really be meta if this were to be Akari? Would it really be meta? Because you know you're looking for someone that's a woman, and you know Akari doesn't look like how she usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, initiative has started, so I've got to treat this as such. I didn't want to get to this point. However, someone wants to fight me, so
You can fight back.
So you shoot
Yeah.
out the needle darts, and they hit into her arm, but you see her forearm seems to be metal.
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 How metal?
All right, Bucky Barnes.
Yeah. How metal?
So, what do you want to do for your third action?
I'm going to take the. I'm going to take my javelin and then use that as well as a final action. Yeah.
So you're gonna run in and stab her.
I'll probably throw it.
Okay. Cool.
If anything.
You could. Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to hit.
Doesn't hit.
Damn it. I'm assuming we're allowed a speaking action.
Of course you are.
Free action.
Oryn is also then just going to say, I don't want to fight you. We're here looking for a friend of ours. I don't want this to happen. I have no issues with you. But I won't be afraid to take you out if necessary.
Okay. So you're trying to tell the person that you don't want to fight them.
Yes.
But you will fight them.
Kind of. Like, This doesn't have
If you're
to get
gonna force
ugly.
my hand, no, if you're gonna force our hand, we
Yeah,
didn't want violence, but if you're gonna force our hand, you
we have no
Uh,
issues with you.
The person's going to look at you with the needle darts that just hit their arm, and then they're going to say, well, it doesn't seem like you don't want to fight.
Oryn is then also just going to say, believe me, this can escalate into being a lot worse. I can see that you have already readied your own weapons, kind of looking towards the needle darts that this person had ready. And again, just repeats, I do not want to fight you. However, I will if you force my hand. Alternatively, end this now and we can both be on our way. I will patch you up. But I don't want this. We can all walk away from this. This is unnecessary.
Roll a diplomacy.
wow.
Not great, but not the worst.
You see that the needle darts that she has ready kind of just, they stop pointing towards you. So they're still there, but they're not pointed at anyone specifically. And then she answers and says, well, you could have just left me instead of coming in here then.
Oryn is going to say, we did not know that it was you in here. Like I say, I am looking for someone. She's going to say, I'm looking for someone. We did not mean to disturb you, but what do you expect to happen when suddenly we arrive in this place sensing a certain type of magic and something is hiding behind the boxes? Forgive me for jumping to conclusions.
She looks at you and says, maybe that something doesn't want to be found inside here.
Gregor's gonna point the gun against it. There are two of us, but only one of you. You know how this is going to turn out, and you still have not answered the questions. Why don't you try maybe answering the questions, and we can be civil from there?
Whoa.
And take a step or two towards it.
Does that hit Gregor?
What?
18.
What hits? I don't know what.
Does it hit? Like, is that above your armor class?
Okay, so it's an attack roll. I'm just thinking, what are you doing?
Yes.
I don't
does
know what
that
I'm
hit
supposed to be
Gregor?
looking for.
Is that above
AC
his
is
armor?
18.
Okay. So the 3 needle darts hit Gregor.
Got it. 7, eh?
Yes.
Okay, put the damage in.
And then a shield forms in front of her between Gregor and herself. And then she looks back at Oryn and then she says, really, you don't want to fight?
Oryn is, I'm actually, Oryn is going to give her like a, one of those confused and astounded looks, like, are you being for real right now? And she's going to say to her, well, I do believe that you have once again initiated an attack. My associate asked you to answer a question and you respond with violence. What are we supposed to think?
She's going to say that sounded more like a threat than a question. And then, Gregor, it's your turn.
I'm gonna look at Oryn and go, associate? Looking like really
Well,
hurt.
no,
know,
is associate
pull out-
associate a negative term, is it? You've called me an associate before.
No, I haven't.
Have you not? Okay, sorry. My
Oops.
friend asked you a question.
Too late now. The damage is done.
Okay, sorry, my once almost fiance, not fiance, friend, family member,
Too late now.
associate,
Damage has been done. Too
bestie,
late now.
enemy.
See,
It's gonna come-
technically she did less damage than Oryn did.
So he's gonna pull out the needle darts and kind of throw them on the floor and say, "You are sure you want to do this? This is your final warning. We're being nice. We don't need to be nice."
Sorry, also, my
Yeah.
needle dart hits Akari.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
this person, sorry. Sorry, that was an assumption. My needle darts did hit this person.
So the AC that you were looking for is a 20
Yes.
because she has a shield on herself at this stage.
Okay,
so
of course.
yes, you hit above what her initial AC is, but the +2 on the shield arm, you hit into that.
Okay.
So that's why I described it that way specifically.
All right. I was just gonna say, because if it did hit, I didn't roll damage.
That's a miss.
That was an intimidation, not a thing.
Oh, intimidation.
That was an intimidation for the thing, not an attack roll. For the speech I just gave. Intimidation or diplomacy, either or, it's the same difference. They're both the same.
So do you want to intimidate or do you want to be diplomatic?
Diplomatic's probably the choice if we're trying to
Let's
get
go
her
for
to
diplomatic
stand
then.
down.
Okay.
She turns towards you and she says, well, your diplomacy skills have never been great, so maybe you should quit your day job, Gregor.
Well, maybe actions speak louder than words.
Do you shoot?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a miss.
How does she know Gregor's name? Dum dum dum.
Exactly. So I'm just adjusting my ammo. And then
This would be a great time for Lillith to join.
it would be. And then put the pistol away and draw.
Hand crossbow.
I'm just checking something. Hand crossbow, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I suppose you want me to check if I'm not going to fire that. That's it. Turn done. Take another step towards it. I'm done.
Okay. Oryn?
After hearing the way that she spoke to Gregor, I don't know if I would have to make a perception roll for this. I can if you need me to, but
No, you don't
Oryn
have
is
to.
yeah, okay. Oryn is then going to like lower any weapon she was holding. I'm assuming she probably would have taken out another javelin or had the bow or whatever. She's just going to put it away, whatever it was she was holding. And she's going to put her hands up and she's going to say, you know, you have this town in quite a daze looking for you. And she's going to take a step closer. But again, just kind of like with her hands up. And then she's just going to say, you've had us running around the whole town for half the day. And kind of look expectantly at her.
So she looks back at Oryn, noticing that she put down the weapon. And then she's going to say, so how much is the reward? How much made you turn?
Oryn is going to like kind of like choke out a laugh and like look us down, and she's gonna say, well, considering everything, I'm quite appalled at how low you must think of me. And believe me, it's not high enough. She's gonna say, if I would have turned on you, you would have known. But considering you are still standing here and I've put my weapon down, should show you that I'm not interested in the money. However, you are letting your summon die outside, and we are all risking our lives trying to find you and save you.
Very nice. So, for Gregor,
Mhm.
you would see that the barrier between you guys kind of fades away. And then she looks at you. You're still holding the hand crossbow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pointed at her.
I haven't pointed in, I just took it out.
And then she's going to tell Oryn, if you weren't looking to get my bounty, then why did you attack? And she kind of looks at the arrow that hit the wall and stuff.
Oryn is going to say, well, considering the current circumstances that we are in, it's best to be vigilant. Obviously, you know, my first priority is protecting Silas. So I shot at you as a warning. If I wanted to attack, trust me, I wouldn't have missed.
She's going to look a bit confused and then say, well, with the circumstances, you must understand why I'm on edge then as well.
Oryn is going to just nod her head and say it's understandable. Perhaps next time you shouldn't bolt from us. Maybe we could come up with a plan to make sure that we're not in this situation again. That we can help each other.
I was just going to say, but he was right there. If he saw me, he would have noticed. He would have recognized me.
And Oryn is then just going to say, and your summon? Would she have not been recognized?
Not in the form that she is usually when she's with me.
Oryn is then just going to nod her head and say, well, it's understandable then. Let's take this as an opportunity to come up with a plan now for future in case this happens. Like I say, the whole village or town rather is looking for you as we speak. You have friends, and she's gonna say that word very sarcastically, and looking for you as well.
Is it that hard to believe she has friends?
No, but I don't like the other blonde elf. And she's gonna say, you have friends, like sarcastically, of Aniko, I think that was her name.
Yes.
Amiko,
Yes.
that are also trying to look for you.
She looks towards Gregor again and then says, so are you going to put that away as well?
I'm gonna say, prove to me you are Akari. Then I will put it away. And I still owe you for the needle darts. point to where the needle darts were, the kind of bleeding now.
She's gonna look back at Oryn and then say, "Is he really saying that after I've healed him multiple times from death?" And then she starts walking away.
You have not healed me multiple times.
Akari has healed you multiple times.
Not from death. Once. Once is not multiple. And you say I don't understand the language.
To be fair, I mean, she's also like, you know, she doesn't look like Akari, so
And then put his
I don't know what Gregor's perception is like, but maybe he didn't get it.
he'll keep. I'm not going to put it away. I'll walk with it by my side. He'll keep the hand crossbow out, but held at his side.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Akari
Oryn
kind
is
of
also
walks towards Oryn and just says, "Well, I'm sorry," and then walks further towards the chute to get out again.
Oryn, Oryn is gonna like block her nose and be like, "Not as sorry as I am. You made me climb into this shithole."
Silas is going to be saying, he goes, "Attention, Lady Oryn, you handled that so well. I'm so happy. That could have gone bad really quickly."
Yeah, it really could have. I was just like, I'm not gonna fight Akari today.
Can you give me a hand to get out? Stinks in here.
Oh, Oryn is then just gonna help him out.
It's going to be like, I'm closer to this floor. I smell it worse than you do.
She's gonna say to him, "Don't worry, maybe we can have a nice long bath after this. Much needed."
And he goes, that'd be good. And kind of starts going out. And then again, I will, even crawling out, Gregor will still keep the hand crossbow in his hand.
All right, so you climb out through the chute, right?
I'll wait for Oryn and Akari everyone to make it through, and then I'll come out after they're out on the other side.
Okay.
Trying to be a gentleman.
So make a reflex save as you fall, or kind of climb out through the chute and get out the other side with the crossbow in your hand.
Oh, me. That's not just who. You must do a. Give me a second. A reflex, you say?
Yes.
Give me a second. Booyah!
Whoa!
Like
Get it,
a
Gregor.
ninja.
You get out on the other side and you manage not to accidentally pull the trigger on the crossbow, as you still have it in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Akari kind of stands there in the cloak. I take it you let it go with the magic hand as well.
The cloak's still standing with a magic hand, like in the middle of the storeroom.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you could call the magic hand back to you. You can control it. So you can call it back to you and bring it with the cloak.
Yeah, I'll bring the cloak out as well. Just I'll use the magic hand. I'll kind of be holding it, and then I'll use one finger to like poke her in the back, like tap her, and then hold the cloak out to her.
You're not going to like bring it down to swipe it as much through the gunk as you can on the way out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already pretty much covered in gunk before that, so.
Oryn is also just while they're waiting for Gregor to get out of the shaft as well, she's just going to tell Alpha with the rings. She's going to say, the target has been acquired. We need to find a way out of here as quick as possible.
Hostage secure.
Gregor's gonna check on this. Gregor's gonna check on the summon. The summon's okay.
So
Eagle one.
as you get back to Lillith, she's standing there alone.
Okay. No summon.
No summon.
And then we'll ask. Okay, Lilith is still on the phone, so we can't ask Lilith anything.
Unfortunately.
No, well, so let's play the role of Lilith. We'll ask Lilith, where did the summon go?
Lilith would explain to you that she looked at the storehouse when you guys were inside, and then there was a gunshot. Or she kind of looks at the pepper
Bang.
box and Gregor's side and says, "That thing's noise." And then she disappeared.
Oh my word, what is with you guys in running away?
She disappeared. She vanished. It's not like she ran away. She vanished.
Like into thin air.
Yes. Like faded
Okay, well
away.
that's the void's problem now. I actually cannot.
Cannot deal.
I can't deal. You guys need to come up with a system for this. If bad things happen, you need to know where to go and what's gonna happen.
Gregor's going to say, maybe we need to stay in town until things settle down a bit. In the Rusty Dragon.
Agreed. Just stay holed up in the room.
Maybe we can do a bit of maybe reconnaissance. You can stay, Akari can stay in the room, but the rest of us can maybe do some reconnaissance and see what we can find out before we move on again. And besides that, I need some time to get Gourd back into his usual self.
Back into fighting shape.
Hmm.
Oryn is going to nod and say, I agree. And she's also going to kind of give like a sympathetic look towards the bag within it. Like a sad kind of look. And then she's going to, I'm assuming by now Akari's put the cloak back on.
Yes, she has. She's not standing that close to you guys, though.
Yeah.
Still looking the same.
Yeah.
Yes. Still in
Okay.
a tiefling form.
Okay.
Oryn is going to say to everybody then, let's make our way back to the inn.
Rusty Dragon.
And yeah, the Rusty Dragon. She's going to let Alpha know that that's where everybody's going. And she's also going to walk all the way at the back of the group with Silas
Hold on,
and the
before
broom.
you do that, Gregor will take out a rag from one of his pockets and hand it to you, and then take the other one and kind of wipe off himself as best as he can, and make a point not to give one to Akari. And he'll kind of wipe off Silas as well, where he can, while wiping off himself.
Oryn will just say thank you.
It smells kind of like lemon.
Wait, why? Oryn is gonna, she's gonna thank Gregor. She's gonna look down at the two of them and like the gunk that I can only imagine the amount of gunk that's on their clothes and things, and at Akari, and she's gonna say, perhaps we should make a point to visit the bathhouse, or at the very least some kind of washroom, laundromat, ye old laundromat, and get this sorted out. And she's gonna walk away, also kind of mumbling something about if only Fabulous could see her now.
She would not be happy.
But sorry, but while this is happening, I would probably say that somebody should walk in the front, Akari should walk in the middle, and someone should stay behind. So I'll offer to stay behind. But then we must all just make our way there, because we don't want to make it too obvious that now suddenly we've got a new member with our party. And I'm assuming Akari wouldn't want to travel like with us exactly. So if she kind of hangs in the middle of the group, we can make sure that nothing's going to come up from behind, or if she bolts again, that one of us could at least take after her.
I'll take the front, not a problem.
Cool.
Still holding the crossbow.
Still holding the crossbow, yep.
Okay. Not fishy at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Cool. So
No, Fiji's where we just came from.
as you guys are walking, Kari keeps looking at where all of you are, and then at some point she starts walking slower, so Gregor's kind of getting further ahead of you guys. And she's almost, it seems like she's trying to get closer to Oryn. If that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hurt me. You're
No.
going to hit me again.
No, don't worry. She didn't hit you.
Not yet.
When did she hit you?
Steve, I feel like Akari is the type that she'll like playfully punch you, but then give you a black eye.
Yeah. I'm not
She's
gonna,
not strong
I'm not gonna
enough for
dispute
that. She's not alpha.
I'm not going to dispute that.
Alpha doesn't play fight. He will just give you the black eye because he's intentionally trying to give you the black eye.
You'd be lucky just to get off with the black eye.
Okay, do you want to head back to Alpha? No, we're kind of heading back, or do you want to finish up with Oryn?
So, first want to just ask if Oryn lets Akari get closer to her or not.
Close to you.
Yeah, Oryn is just gonna keep walking her normal pace. She's gonna make sure that Akari doesn't go behind her though. So if Akari keeps slowing down, Oryn will slow down as well.
Okay, so is that once Akari's close to her, or like, what's the following distance?
Yeah, like if Akari is intentionally trying to walk next to Oryn, she'll let her.
Okay, cool. So with that, I'm gonna jump back to Alpha before we get back into that whole scenario there. So Alpha,
Yes.
finally, what feels like a week later, you get to the end of the hallway, and the lady unlocks the door and opens it up, and you see there's a few cases inside, display cases as well. And you see there's like on a lectern, there's a journal. And she starts walking towards the journal, and she says, "This is my great-grandfather's journal."
Okay. Alpha will follow her.
So as she kind of pages through it, you see there's a few pages missing. Not a lot, but a few. And then she pages right to the back, and she places the page down into the journal. And again, like you saw the page healing earlier when you stabbed it, it seems almost to connect back into the journal.
Okay.
So the page where it was ripped off kind of seals back together again.
Yes.
And then she looks at you and she asks, "So, is there anything else you'd like to know?"
Alpha will say, the spirit tied to that paper would probably want you to repent.
She kind of tilts her head and then asks, "Why?"
Alpha draws his sword and stabs her. No, I'm joking.
Yes.
Went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Joking.
Just to be sure, although the atrocities that were done are not your fault, but merely your great-grandfather's, reading that journal entry, repenting and asking for forgiveness might finally lay their souls to rest.
She looks again, and she asks him, "What time did you see these beings?"
It was last night, actually, wasn't it?
Hmm.
The
Close
night
to
before.
midnight.
Yeah, Alpha will say, well, close to midnight.
He looks a bit worried at you and then says, "So it's almost that time now."
Time flew.
Well, why don't we hang around and see what happens?
He looks a bit nervous, and then she says, "What about the staff? Will they be okay?"
I do not believe that your staff or you are in danger. But if you could, seeing the elven boy repent for your grandfather's sins, I do believe everything will be fine.
So she nods, and then she kind of goes to take a seat on a quite elaborate couch, and then she says, "Well, you're welcome to join."
Alpha's gonna make himself comfy.
Like lay down on the couch.
No,
Straight
not
back.
that comfy. As Alpha's sitting down, does Alpha know that the creatures, the gnomes, are clockwork gnomes?
Yes, he's seen clockwork stuff before.
Okay. Alpha will, as he sits down, he'll say, "Marvelous creatures you have cleaning your display stand. Tell me, where do you obtain something like that?"
She looks a bit sad, and then she says, "Actually, it's a rather sad story. They once worked for
Stay a while
the
and
Rune-
listen.
They once worked for the Rune Lords, and souls were trapped, and this is the only way we can keep them from rampaging."
So the gemstone that seems to fit where heart would.
She nods. So I'm just gonna say it's a good thing that the people with the vial of the sin spawn stuff aren't here.
Why?
Just gonna say it's a good thing that they're not here.
Okay.
Looking at you, Gregor.
That's also what I was like. Gregor takes a look at the clock. I'm like, wait, what? Give me a second. Wait, are you actually here?
I misheard you. I thought we
You're
all went there.
welcome.
Yeah.
See,
I
good
misheard you. I
things
thought we all
happen
went.
when you're on my team. It's fine.
Apparently.
We
Sorry
find
about the
Akari,
little
we
bit, though.
accomplish the mission. You don't get in trouble because you have the sin spawn vial. I mean, geez, like,
Needle
Alpha,
dots is a
Orange
small
team
price
for
to
the win.
pay.
Alpha might still be in trouble, depending on how this interaction goes.
That's because you went on Orange team.
Alpha will kind of nod and then say, my mother used to talk about, or read me story. My mother used to read me stories about these magnificent creatures, clockwork creatures. I recall her telling me a story about a clockwork dragon, but I have yet to see one.
Would you want to see one?
Probably not.
Just saying. Just saying.
I mean, if Alpha can get a clockwork dragon as a pet, obviously.
So she looks at you and
Alpha
then
has the magical horse. Alpha doesn't need another pet.
I was
Yo,
gonna
but
say,
a
He already got the
dragon!
horse
A
kill.
dragon!
No, we all get one pet. If you have the horse, Lilith can have the clockwork dragon. She's like, learn to take care of the one kid you have before you start trying to get another one. Damn.
Alpha's building an army. Come on.
She
Fair
looks
enough.
at you and then she says, "I'm not familiar with the story. Do you know its name?"
Alpha's just gonna tell us some kind of generic story.
James and the Giant Clockwork Dragon.
Yeah, pretty much. Just some generic child book story thing.
Big red clockwork dragon, something like that.
Yeah.
Can't exactly recall the name.
dragon who thought they could.
She looks at it and she's like, "Okay, is it a story native to your hometown then?"
It was in a children's book in my hometown.
She looks at him and she says, "Well, I hope that you find your way back there and that you can meet up with your folks again."
She's just gonna visibly see his head, like, sagging, I guess.
Sorry, she's trying to be nice. I know she
His
doesn't
parents
know.
are dead.
I know that. She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So with the awkward silence, it gets broken
They're like,
when two shrieking goblins kind of run into the room, and they seem pale. Like, usually goblins are greenish. These ones almost seem white.
Alpha's gonna get up and then say, I guess it's midnight, hey?
Yes.
Alpha's gonna tell the old lady, well, I think it's time. And then he'll hold out his hand to
She's kind of
help
sitting
her
in
up.
the chair, snoring a little bit.
Oh, well, wake up!
Okay, so you wake up. She kind of comes to and she's like, sorry, why are you here?"
It's time for you to repent, old woman.
Is that really his
No,
answer?
no.
I was about to say.
No, Alpha will just say it's time, and then hold out his hand to help her up if she needs help.
She looks at you and then she says, "I never thought death would look like you."
it's a tough job, but someone's going to do it.
It's time.
Alpha's just gonna quickly say, repent, the story, the journal entry, the ghost, the kid, Elven kid, ring a bell.
She kind of looks at you and says, "It's something about clockwork dragons, right?"
Yes.
So she stands up and then takes a deep breath, and then she faces the door that the goblins just ran through. They both cowering at this stage, kind of hiding behind whatever they can. And then you would start hearing the same chant you did before about repenting in your head.
Alpha would walk with the old lady to the room where the goblins came from. And then he'll say loudly, I've returned the journal entry to the journal, and I bring you a family member of what seems to be left of a mercenary working for the Rune Lords. Although this dated 200 years ago, this poor lady has no hand in working with the mercenary group on behalf of her deceased family. She is very sorrowful and would want to repent on their behalf. Kind of nudging the old lady, saying, listen, this is your time to say sorry for what your great-granddaddy did.
You nudge her forward and she kind of takes a few steps forward and then she looks at you like kind of confused about what you just said. And then she
Just say you're sorry, old woman. Just say that you're sorry.
sees the spirits and stuff. And then she kind of walks closer to them and says, the sins of the past, I do apologize for them, but the ones who orchestrated them and put into motion what happened have long since passed. And you can kind of see the ghosts are moving towards some of the artifacts and stuff. So it's almost like they inspecting the artifacts in the museum.
Seeing that, Alpha will say, before you are artifacts from long ago, long since history, and long since forgotten.
The elven boy that you saw before walks up to you and he nods and he says, I think that the rest can finally rest now.
Aww.
Okay.
That's how we roll.
Do you leave? Or what do you do, Alpha?
Well, what is everyone doing?
The different ghosts are just kind of gravitating towards different artifacts on display.
Okay.
All of them seem to be... There's groups of them going to specific ones, and they don't seem to be going between artifacts.
So
It's almost like a group is going to a artifact and sticking to that one artifact.
Yes. Alpha's gonna look towards the old lady. She's fine, hey?
Yeah.
And he's gonna say, I don't know if she saw the interaction between him and the little elven boy.
She can see the ghosts.
Okay.
That much is clear. So can the goblins.
Alpha will say, I have confirmation from the elven boy that the spirits are laid to rest. Everything should be fine now. Do you require me to stay in case you need another hand? Or would you be fine on your own?
She looks at you and says, I believe we should be okay. If you have somewhere else to be. I know how adventuring life is. Takes me back.
Alpha will take out the lockbox and say, you mentioned that you wanted this?
Oh, it's definitely a artifact. She doesn't say like rune lords, specifically trying not to say the word again. And then she asks, haven't they discussed the payment with you?
I don't think they have. Have they?
No.
Okay. Alpha will just shake his head and say, I don't believe they have.
Okay. So she kind of looks quite angry at the goblins, and then she says, well, for a artifact such as that, along with the key that is inside it, and then she says, right, do you even know what it is?
It had the journal entries, that most of which have disappeared except the one that we returned to the journal, but I don't have any memory or recollection of what this artifact might be for.
She looks at me and then she says, "It's a bound safety box. It's a box that, if it has the person who occupies it offers a amount of their blood to it, they can specify who is allowed to open it, or specify specifically who cannot." Are you still willing to part with such an item?
What is the payment that you are offering?
There we go. Thank you, Alpha. We're getting stressed.
So she kind of looks at the goblins and they're still freaked out, and then she says, "Well, I can offer you right now for the box as it is 50 gold.
No. Alpha's gonna relay to Oryn and say, the box is actually an artifact. This lady, and kind of say, oh, if you give blood, what, all that stuff, and then say, this lady's offering me 50 gold. Discussed amongst the team, what do you think? I don't think it's worth 50 gold. I think it's worth more.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I think.
So, jumping back to Oryn, you'd probably get this message around the same time that Akari would get there. Or just
Dude, it's late at
slightly
night.
before. So, Oryn, what do you respond to Alpha? I think you're muted at this stage, maybe? Oof, that's a rough one.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Sorry, can't hear anything if you are speaking. Sorry, Caedyn. There
Hello.
we go. There we go.
Okay. Sorry, I had to unplug it and plug it back in and then unplug it again. I tried everything, it wasn't working.
It's working now. Don't worry. You got it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't muted for once. I wasn't actually muted. That was the mic's fault, not mine. Oryn is going to just to Gregor about the
What was
box
that roll
that
for?
Hmm?
What was that roll for?
I switched back to the screen. The pointer was over the dice thing, and it rolled the dice. I was actually trying to switch back to Al there from Wanderer's Guide.
Okay, cool.
Oryn is just going to share that information with Gregor that Alpha told her about the lockbox. She's going to say that this is what it is. This is what it does. They're offering Alpha a certain amount of money for it.
50 gold.
50 gold, yeah. He wants to know what the rest of the team thinks, if he should sell it or if he should keep it.
This is an artifact, at least, minimum, 1 platinum.
I was gonna say you kind of have to shut it because we're quite far apart. I would say.
Wait. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot we're far apart. I'll tell. No, should we? I'll tell him, Gregor, to come back maybe so that we can just discuss it.
Okay.
Everything is happening all at once. Akari wants to talk to me. Alpha wants to talk to me. I don't know. I'm trying to let the story play out as logically as possible.
It's tough being the popular one.
I know. Everybody wants to be my friend.
Akari just kind of stands to the side. So.
Okay. Well, we'll have our conversation in a second. Oryn's going to call Gregor. She's going to keep an eye on Akari. But so they're not going to move far away from her at all and keep an eye on her. And then she's just going to tell Gregor what Alpha said.
You're gonna go, shh. Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah.
You're
It's
gonna
like broken telephone.
say- tell him to tell her he first wants to have it evaluated.
All right. Well, Oryn will tell that to Alpha, obviously. She's going to say, Gregor said, you might want to have it
Evacuated.
evacuated. Yeah. I was trying to think of
This old lady's gonna look at Alpha. He's gonna look so confused. He's gonna say, "Evacuated."
No, you must now come up with something else. Okay, I've been told that I should have it eradicated.
um.
No, Oryn's just going to say Alpha says that maybe you should have it evaluated.
Gregor says.
Google.
Gregor, what did I say?
Alpha.
Sorry, my bad. This is awful. I'm tired.
We need to do a broken telephone episode. I just decided.
Yeah.
For your next puzzle.
The old lady will just see Alpha putting the box away, and then he'll say, maybe I should have this artifact evaluated first.
To be fair, I mean, if this is a museum kind of thing, shouldn't they give you like the fair evaluation of it?
50 gold, but 50 gold, I'm like, she said this is a rare artifact. I'm like, 50 gold,
You're
I
right.
don't know. That just sounds
No,
off.
you're right. She's
Mhm.
lowballing you, but what I'm saying is if the owner of this museum is like lowballing you, I don't think that you're going to find a higher evaluation somewhere else. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, for 50 gold, if I pour a little bit of my blood onto it, it's my personal box that no one else can open.
Mm-hmm.
Which would make it great for not pickpocketing.
Exactly. In my journal. No one can read my journal.
You and Mia?
MIA. But
don't
so do you tell that to the museum owner that you want to have it evaluated?
Well, Alpha's going to say, maybe have it evaluated, or he's going to say, or maybe I could find use of such an artifact myself.
She nods, and then she says, that's why I asked if you are sure you still want to part with it. As for the evaluation, not many people want to be associated with Rune Lord items.
I don't know, 50 gold just seems like a really, like Oryn says, lowball offer.
Make it a
Yeah.
Does Alpha say that?
No.
Oh, you saying that as Armand?
No, yes.
Like Oryn always says, who the hell is that?
I don't know. Am I fair to think that 50 is a bit is a little low?
Yeah, I think so.
No, that's low.
I mean,
That
for
is
an
low.
artifact,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
No, it's low. Well, yeah, it's low. I paid like 2 copper for my brooms. I can't really say much, but
If we trade with them? No. How would you?
For what,
What would you
though?
trade
No,
for?
but
Yeah, a clockwork dragon.
what would you want? No. I want your door opening gnome. You must get one that like blows a trumpet every time you enter a room. Like da 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 da.
I like that idea.
What is that box called? What did you say was it called?
It is a bound
DM
security box.
has to quickly rifle back through their notes.
I don't think you're gonna find it on Wanderer's Guide or anything.
No.
If you're looking for it.
No, I'm trying to think at what to tell this stupid old lady.
Thank you. I'll keep it. Have a lovely day.
Yeah, we can keep it for now.
Okay.
You can always sell it at a later point.
If we find someone that wants anything
I'll
to
ask it.
do.
Ask her, how long does the offer stand for?
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask. How long does the offer stand for?
Well, if you come back in a busier month, it might be more.
When are your busy months?
From when to when? Exactly.
I need the date and time now.
She looks at Alpha and then she asks, "Which way is the wind gonna blow tomorrow?"
South by southeast.
North.
Northwest.
When are you busy?
Then
We
she
are
leans
kind of in
closer
the
and
area.
says,
We keep coming back.
with the recent arrival of more foreign guests, it is difficult to say when we'll have tourists coming again.
To be fair, I think it's kind of cool having an artifact. I don't think
Yeah, hang on
does
a
anyone
while.
in the group have an artifact?
Nope.
Not.
Yes, Alpha does. His
So
armor.
other than the armor, oh,
Other than Alpha.
Alpha's carrying 2 artifacts. Yeah, beat that. Yeah, let's keep the artifact.
Well, the horse is carrying Alpha, so technically the horse has the most artifacts.
Fair enough.
So, the old woman smiles and then she says, "Well, if you want to bind the box, you'll have to draw the blood." And then she kind of gestures towards the box and the key, and she says, "Can I show you? Not to actually do it, just to explain how it would work."
Tell
Can
me
you
how
trust
it
her?
would work.
'Cause,
Let my hands guide the key in the box.
Okay, so she kind of awkwardly still kind of waits at the desk because you're still holding the stuff. Like, I could try.
Do I just pour my blood into the box and then lock it with the key?
No.
That'd be too easy.
What do I do?
She asks if you can put down the key, please.
I don't trust this woman. I don't actually know. I don't trust Christopher. You have given us
the players.
You have given us PTSD.
I promise you nothing bad is going to happen.
Yet.
If it does, I'll give everyone a hero point.
Famous
No.
last words.
I want 2 platinum.
That's not how you negotiate.
Okay, I'll put the key down.
So she turns the key around, and you see on the one side, right at the back, there's a small little needle on it. Right? Probably you didn't feel it because you have gloves on. And then she says, you have to use this and then drop the blood onto the key and place that into the box for at least a day. And then the next day, it'll be bound to you.
What happens if I lose the box or the key?
Then it becomes treasure for someone else.
But still bound to me.
Well, technically, 200 years ago, they said probably specifically that the people that were bound out of the box still can't open it. But 200 years into the future, they would not have known that you would be there, so you are not excluded from that list.
Oh.
That's why you could open the box.
Okay. I was gonna say thank you, bow, and then let himself out.
Right. So you make your way back to the Rusty Dragon.
Yes, he did take the key and the box.
Cool,
He
cool.
has
No
both.
problem. I assumed that you took both back. Don't worry.
Yes.
Not gonna go super technical about this.
Just making sure.
So, for the rest of the team, Akari is still kind of standing off to the side while you guys are discussing, and then waiting for you to move again.
We probably would have started moving already after we spoke to Alpha
Yeah, so
and
we're
just
back
told
at
him
that
to
point. We're
take
just
it. Yeah. Okay, cool,
running
cool.
the same time, but two different
Yeah.
perspectives.
Cool.
While Alpha's heading back,
Does he say a prayer?
no. He's gonna do what the old lady said. So he's gonna
Okay.
prick his hand or his finger or whatever with
Mm-hmm.
the backside of the key,
Yeah.
and then follow her instructions. Let the blood drip, put the key in the box, close it, and then
Yeah.
put the box away.
So, as you prick your finger with the key, right, you see that the gem in the back of the key goes a bit more red, and you also notice that there's no blood that actually comes out of your finger. Definitely felt it prick your finger, but there's no droplet of blood coming out of your finger. But the gem does light up, and you put it back into the lockbox.
Okay.
You felt a small prick, but felt nothing.
Okay, so preparation's done on that side.
Uh,
You're gonna take out the sword and just make sure there's blood.
No.
sorry.
Cool. Shoes off. So, rest of the group, what's happening?
No, we're back in
I
the
would
room. Or are we? I was going to ask, are we back in the room or are we still walking? It's like midnight already. Are we still walking back or are we back already?
On the way back, I'd say.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
Gregor will be in the front again so Akari can have a talk with Oryn.
Everybody wants a piece of Oryn.
Wait, sorry. When was Alpha supposed to say who and what and mustn't open the box? I forgot.
Good question. I don't think you asked.
Damn it!
I'm just joking. It's you can technically change it every time you drop blood into it. So if you even will it right now, so it's not physically that you have to like whisper to the key or something.
Yeah.
It's just in your will. So if you say, "Listen, I don't want Akari to be able to open this," she won't be able to open it.
Can Alpha specify as in no one can open it other than himself?
Okay, he heard us talking.
Okay.
He must have.
His diary.
Well, it's instinct. It's what is that? Sixth sense.
Yep.
Oh, that's about as much as you got for that box.
Yeah.
6 cents.
Actually, but yeah, Alpha's gonna wish or whatever that only he himself can open the box and no one else.
Okay, cool. It's no problem. So you don't know if it worked or not, but
We'll
that
find
is
out.
what your will is. Anything else that Alpha would like to do?
No, that's all.
Okay, cool. So back to the rest of the group. Is there anything Oryn would like to do firstly?
Oryn is gonna just keep walking. Kind of, I'm assuming Kari has now moved into walking next to her.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. Well, she's not gonna say anything. She's just gonna continue walking, keeping an eye on Akari.
So Akari kind of gets next to Oryn, and then she says, "I think we should leave. We shouldn't stick around in town."
Oryn is just gonna say, "Well, I think that is the plan. But we can't really leave right now, surely."
she nods, and then she says, "But your betrothed," kind of sarcastically, he wanted to do reconnaissance and reconstruct his child that he seems to have an obsession with sending in to die.
Oryn is gonna just say, well, I doubt that it would take too much time. We would probably leave perhaps tomorrow morning early. Leaving right now, I doubt that there will be any boats to take us anywhere else, firstly. Secondly, I know that I keep forgetting how to pronounce her name. Amiko.
Amiko, yes.
Amiko. Amiko.
Ameiko.
Okay, Amiko. He's also, I think, concerned for your safety. So I agree, the sooner we leave, the better. However, the group does need to, regroup.
She nods again, and then she says, "I just don't think we should stay long."
Oryn will just nod and just say, "Don't worry, we'll get you out of here."
She nods and then continues to walk with you guys. Where are you going? To the Rusty Dragon or to the bathhouse?
Gregor, you're in front.
Well, I was going to the Rusty Dragon.
They might make you pay extra to stay there if you make the sheets that dirty, just by the way.
I won't be sleeping in my clothes, so my clothes will need to be taken to laundry or whatever, but
Just yeah, that's one way to not draw attention. Just meander naked through the at least in the inn
you
or
clean your
the
clothes
town.
in the bath or whatever.
But there's no bath. That's why we had to go to the bathhouse.
Not necessarily.
Is there a
You
bath?
You
No,
went to the
there's not.
bathhouse, you get a special bath.
There's no bath facilities in the rooms at the Rusty Dragon.
How about in the this? Okay, well, we're walking back towards the Rusty Dragon. Let's start there. We're just walking back towards the Rusty Dragon, and Akari wanted to speak to Oryn.
She did.
Oh, done. Okay, that was it. I thought there was more to it. That's all.
No, that's it.
I'll keep heading back
I
towards
want
the
to go.
I want to go towards the Lusty Dragon and then kind of find out what can we. Is there a place we can get cleaned up and our clothing cleaned?
So you want to go into the Rusty Dragon? Do I understand correctly? The team agrees on that?
Yeah, to ask.
Yeah,
To ask
I'm happy with
Amiko,
that.
who are you going to ask at the Rusty Dragon?
Probably Amiko.
Where
She's the
was
owner.
Amiko?
Is she not at the Rusty Dragon anymore? I'm assuming is what you're trying to say.
Last time you saw her, she was at the bathhouse. She didn't seem to be going anywhere from there. Also where you saw the elf coming and going too. So... Well, I'm asking if you want to go to the Rusty Dragon or the bathhouse. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Because I'm assuming we're going to the bathhouse then. Well, then we can get our clothes washed, I'm assuming. So, okay, maybe.
So instead of going to the Rusty Dragon, you take a bit of a detour and get to the bathhouse. And as you reach the bathhouse, you see that all four of the other people that were in the Rusty Dragon when you were there the first night are all there with Amiko, busy chatting amongst themselves. And as you get in, they all kind of look at the group and then deliberately stay quiet. Like, they don't continue speaking, just kind of looking at the group, like, seeing what they found. Kind
Roll
of
for
situation.
initiative. No, I'm joking.
Could we make a perception roll to see if we did catch anything of what they said?
You can go ahead and try.
Okay.
Take it alphas with the group again. Everyone's together.
Yes.
Okay.
That one.
Oof. Wow.
Very nice. Alpha, do you want to join in here?
Yep.
Very nice.
Alpha heard everything they said.
So, Oryn, you didn't catch much. And then it would have been nice if you rolled higher because the elf is actually speaking Sylvan to Amiko. Anyway.
Technically, Lilith didn't make a roll. Maybe somebody could roll for her.
She can roll for herself.
Is she back?
Perception roll.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I was having a bit of a powwow with my family down under. Perception roll. I'll do that. My apologies for joining very, very late.
All good, all
No
good.
worries. Good to have you back.
The team needed you.
Oh my gosh! Thank you. I don't feel bad at all right now.
Now you do. You're welcome.
Hey, tomorrow you're having lunch here. I'm just saying. Fair warning.
Only tomorrow's Mother's Day, so I don't have to be nice today yet.
Your father's child.
Yeah, we almost died without you, but it's okay.
Thanks. Thank you, Oryn. I needed to hear that. What?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Specifically you we needed. We couldn't have asked anybody else. It was just you that we needed.
Pack my bags and sent me on the guild trip.
So, you, Lilith, would notice that the elf and Amiko, the elf is speaking to Amiko in Sylvan, right? And then between those of you that rolled high enough, so it would be Gregor, Alpha, and Lilith, you guys would kind of be able to figure out that the elf was mostly trying to find Akari, whereas the rest of them were keeping tabs on where the Miyamotos are and where they are setting up kind of blockades in and out of the city.
I'll be the only one from the three of us who would actually understand that in Sylvan, right? Because I can
The other
speak.
part about the elf telling her that the area that she slipped into, people saw a Kitsune run in there, and then a elven female run out of the building that she was in, and then further back towards where the graveyard is and the temple, they saw an elven woman going into between the gravestones and a human running towards the lake, and then from there the trail went cold.
Okay, well, if I'm the only one who can understand, sorry, they were speaking Sylvan, right?
Yes.
You and Oryn.
Okay, but I'll share that with the team.
Right now.
Well, how far are we from them? Sorry, apologies.
Not too far. Like, you guys are technically in the same small room as they are.
Okay, can I shell phone to Gregor?
Gregor's standing like right there.
Okay, but we have to use our mouths to shape the words. I'll just softly under my breath share what I heard in Sylvan to the people, to the team. So not shouting it at the top of my lungs so that they know I know what they're saying.
Okay. Make a stealth roll on that one.
Me again.
Yes.
Okay. I want it to be late, so now I'll be rolling.
And are you speaking Common or Sylvan, or what language are you using?
Well, if I want the team to understand me, I'd have to speak common to them, right?
Okay. Okay.
I just checked my stealth points. I'll be rolling in a minute. One to three.
Cool. And then, what are you guys' perception? I wasn't high, but I'll roll one anyway. That person doesn't hear you. Doesn't hear you either. What else?
I feel like these rolls should be made with like a disadvantage.
Okay, none of them hear you. So you successfully, stealthily told the rest of the team.
Cool beans.
Okay, and then what do you guys want to do?
What is Akari doing?
Not too much. She's kind of just standing at the back of the group right now.
And she's not running to her friend at the front by the bathhouse.
Not right now.
It's a good point.
Bathhouse for 12, please.
Does it? Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of money for someone not to turn on Akari. I'm a bit skeptical of this friend.
I don't think you must say anything.
Alpha's gonna think to Oryn with the ring. What if we make them believe we know where Akari is, but not outright say that she's with us?
Oryn is going to say to Alpha, I think you are on the right track with this. However, maybe we don't need to say anything at all. Talking about it might make them suspicious of our intentions. You know, we have already stated that we are also looking for her, so maybe just the simple fact that we haven't found anything might show them that we don't know where she is. Because to my way of thinking, I'm just thinking, like if we say something to them, it'll give them reason to talk to us about it. Or if we try and convince them that we know where she is, why wouldn't we have just gone and brought her back?
This is still fairly. This is like quite late. Hey, this is just past midnight.
Yeah, it's like midnight.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe we could say to each other, like not loud that everybody could hear, but loud enough that they would be able to eavesdrop. But maybe we should say amongst ourselves something like, well, we haven't found anything yet. Maybe we can try again early in the morning, tomorrow morning. Perhaps we'll be able to pick up a trail or something.
Yeah.
The biggest
So that
question.
they think we're still looking, but you know.
Yes. Where are we going? Obviously, we need to get out of Sandpoint, but where are we going? Because we can either lay low in Sandpoint, or we can use the darkness and try and get out the city. Or, I don't know, maybe get a boat or something. I mean, how long are they going to be in Sandpoint? How long do they think that Akari is going to stay in Sandpoint?
Yeah, look, the sooner we leave, the better. I know what you're saying, because it would be nice to be able to like wait them out, see if they drop their guard. But we don't know how long Akari can keep up with like the appearances, literally. You know, like changing and being a certain different like look. So either we must go like now so that we can slip out before they've set up the defenses and they start actually like combing through the streets more than what they already are. Or we must like stay in the room locked up for like at least 2 weeks or something, which is not a viable option until the heat dies down. So the chances of us having a successful escape would probably be best than if we leave now.
Well,
Because what I'm thinking.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, well,
Um,
that's why I said wait a while, because everyone is looking now for her. If you give it a day or two, there should be less people looking for her because they would have thought she would have moved on.
Because that's what I thought as well. But I mean, the last thing that we need is to wait 2 days, and then they start sending the guards combing through the streets house by house to make sure. We have a better chance now being caught up in the chaos to be able to slip out. But
Where
like
are
you
we
said,
going,
that
though?
we can. Yeah, we could also probably, if they're setting up like blockades. I don't know how deep the water would be, but I mean, this little space here between that dock and this bank, I don't know if that's like swimmable. I mean, it would wash off the scent from our clothes. I doubt that they'd have a blockade over here. If we leave now, we could make it across. I would say make it across this river.
Depends how
Go
fast
through
it's going.
here.
Go to. Okay, well, we'd have to head back. We're supposed to get whatever from the swamp, so maybe get back to the swamp. But my main thing would be kind of if you want to get away. Look, I don't think they're gonna have the thing to be able to put up blockades in it, but you don't know. They've got massive resources. But the main thing being kind of if someone should notice you trying to swim across, that looks a little bit obvious. Kind of go out as if you're just a normal way going out. And I kind of think with that, we need to end the session.
That is correct. I was about to say, as soon as you guys finish talking, it's like, and with that, it is time.
Good. I love that.